The Last Epoch devs released a preview of 6 new catalysts we can expect in patch 0.8.5. I'll give you my take on these, plus a small history lesson on astronomy at the end. Overall, it's worth noting that these new catalysts are quite massive buffs compared to the old ones. Right now, in 0.8.4, catalysts are not in a great spot, and if you are a caster, it is really tough dropping a two-handed staff in favor of a catalyst. I'm honestly not sure these catalysts will change the tide, but at least they offer a lot more than their predecessors, meaning you will take these into consideration when choosing your weapon and offhand of choice. Starting with the Ritual Stone, which basically immediately sets the tone. 5 intelligence and 14 ward per second at level 5. That is comparable to the Brass Aegis, which currently requires level 46 to equip. These catalysts aren't just getting small upgrades, no, this is an absolute gargantuan buff. It makes me wonder if McFluffin's uniques, the skills of Iterra, are getting new base items as well. I love the art too, a ritual sign, some dried up blood. I think it's pretty gross, but it's also quite neat. Less impressive, but new nonetheless, is the Sapphire Tome, boasting 6 intelligence and 8% cast speed. I don't think that's going to break any records, to be honest. I do like the Majasan engravings on the tome with the golden snakes, that's a nice touch. Then an absolute powerhouse, the Opulent Focus, giving you 13 intelligence, a stunning 49 ward per second and a whopping 68% ward retention. This item alone replaces several passive points in the mage tree, and this will definitely be a consideration if you're running a build based around ward defenses. Intelligence in itself converts to ward retention as well, and these are only the implicits. It's nuts, but necessary if you want to compete with the big boys out there, the staffs. Very elegant art style as well, the azure snake eyes and large gem is once again well done. The art department of Last Epoch has some stellar designers in there, proving their worth yet again. Then a summoner item, the Fleshbound Tome, giving 13 intelligence, 49% minion damage and 40% minion health. There aren't any offhands with minion implicits currently, unless you're counting maybe some unique items, so this is already a decent stat stick. Fill it up with additional minion prefixes like minion damage and minion health, which you can roll on a catalyst, plus a few resistances, and you can craft yourself a very decent rare catalyst for your undead army. Beautiful art once again, reminding me of the areas in Path of Exile like the belly of the beast. The fingers and eyes are once again a nice touch. Then the Crystal Skull, 14 int, 6 base crit for spells and 17% ward retention. In particular, the base crit is pretty good, but if you are valuing base crit in your build, you tend to value base or flat or adaptive spell damage in your build too, and this catalyst has none of that. The 17% ward retention isn't going to change anyone's mind either, so I fear this one still won't make the cut, typically speaking. The art is great though, kudos for that. And finally, the Astrolabe. This isn't a typo, it originates from the Greek Astrolabos, and back at the ancient Greeks, this was an astronomical instrument, which was basically a handheld model of the universe. Back in the day, they knew the Earth was round, contrary to popular belief, and they knew that thanks to this device. Because this device allowed you to make precise measurements of your position relative to celestial bodies. One of those celestial bodies was the North Star, which doesn't move, typically speaking, and the ancient Greeks measured the angle at which they found themselves relative to the North Star. Let's say that angle from Earth to the North Star was 39 degrees. Then they walked north until their astrolabe indicated a 40-degree angle. They had walked for 110 kilometers, or around 65 or 70 miles. And due to a lunar eclipse, where the Earth is between the Sun and the Moon, they knew, because of the shadow the Earth casted on the Moon, that the Earth was round. Because geometry already existed, they also knew a sphere has 360 degrees. One of those degrees was the distance that they just walked, the 110 kilometers, meaning that if you do that times 360, the entire Earth's circumference was roughly 40,000 kilometers, or something like 25,000 miles. They knew all of this thanks to this device. And a fun fact based on this knowledge, they concluded that the Earth itself couldn't be spinning, because that would mean the Earth would rotate 40,000 kilometers in 24 hours, which is like 1600 kilometers an hour or 1000 miles an hour, which is like twice the speed of a Boeing. They argued we would get blown off the face of the Earth at these velocities, and so the only logical explanation was that the universe revolved around the Earth instead of the Earth rotating. Another fun fact, the Earth does move at these speeds, by the way, but due to the stratosphere and other layers on top of the Earth, we don't notice it. It is like sitting in a speeding train. It moves very fast, but you don't get blown out of the train because you are in a cabin. We are also in a cabin on Earth, shut tight by the stratosphere, which is why we're not blown off the faces of the Earth. I like that Last Epoch uses these references in their lore. It's a nice item too. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed the small little video. If you did, consider subscribing for more Last Epoch content. Thanks for watching and making it to the end. Love you all. See you soon. Bye bye.